welcome to this special spooky book chat. My name is Leslie and I'm the Reading Machine Coordinator for Monterey County Free Libraries. This week I'm going to be talking about the second novella in 4 Past Midnight by Stephen King. That story is titled Secret Window, Secret Garden. It's 146 pages long. It was made into a movie starring Johnny Depp back in 2004. And from what I remember when I saw the movie, it was a pretty decent adaptation of this novella. So anyway, Secret Window, Secret Garden is the story of Mort Rainey. He is a writer who has recently relocated to live full-time into his and his ex-wife's summer home on Tashmore Lake. So the thing about Mort Rainey is that he and his ex-wife Amy, they recently finalized their divorce. He is recovering from that whole debacle. He's working through his feelings about Amy's infidelity, which is what led to their divorce. And his writing is suffering as a result. He is very blocked. And this is not a good thing for a writer who makes his money from his word count. So the story opens with a knock on Mort Rainey's door and him opening it to see a stranger standing there on his doorstep. I'm going to read a few parts of the opening to you. I'm going to leave out some of the descriptive stuff and focus mostly on the dialogue between Mort and the stranger, although I still will leave some description in there. So here we go. Here's the beginning of Secret Window, Secret Garden. "You stole my story," the man on the doorstep said. "You stole my story, and something's got to be done about it. Right is right, and fair is fair, and something has to be done." Mort Rainey, who had just gotten up from a nap and who was still feeling only halfway into the real world, didn't have the slightest idea what to say. This was never the case when he was at work, sick or well, wide awake or half asleep. He was a writer, and hardly ever at a loss when it became necessary to fill a character's mouth with a snappy comeback. Rainey opened his mouth, found no snappy comeback there, not even a limp one, in fact, and so closed it again. He thought, this man doesn't look exactly real. He looks like a character out of a novel by William Faulkner. "Well?" the stranger asked when Rainey continued to say nothing. "I don't know you," Rainey said finally. It was the first thing he'd said since he'd gotten up off the couch and come to answer the door, and it sounded sublimely stupid in his own ears. "I know that," said the man. "That doesn't matter. I know you, Mr. Rainey. That's what matters." And then he reiterated, "You stole my story." He held out his hand, and for the first time Rainey saw that he had something in it. It was a sheaf of paper, but not just any old sheaf of paper. It was a manuscript. After you've been in the business a while, he thought, you always recognize the look of a manuscript, especially an unsolicited one. "I don't read manuscripts," he began. "You read this one already," the man with the hard-working sharecropper's face said evenly. "You stole it." He spoke as if stating a simple fact, like a man noting that the sun was out and it was a pleasant fall day. "I can assure you." "I know you can," the man in the black hat said with the same unearthly patience. "I know that." "If you want to talk to someone about some grievance you feel you have," Mort began uncertainly, hating the pompous, talking boilerplate sound of his own voice, but not knowing how else to reply, "you could talk to my age." "This is between you and me," the man on the doorstep said patiently. Bump, Mort's tomcat, had been curled up on the low cabinet built into the side of the house, and now he jumped down and twined his way sinuously between the stranger's legs. The stranger's bright blue eyes never left Rainey's face. "We don't need any outsiders, Mr. Rainey. It is strictly between you and me." "I don't like being accused of plagiarism, if that's what you're doing," Mort said. "I don't blame you for not liking it," the man in the black hat said. He spoke in the same patient and serene way. He spoke, Mort thought, like a therapist whose work is teaching small children. "But you did it. You stole my story." "You'll have to leave," Mort said. He was fully awake now, and he no longer felt so bewildered at such a disadvantage. I have nothing to say to you. Yes, I'll go, the man said. We'll talk more later. He held out the sheaf of manuscript, and Mort actually found himself reaching for it. He put his hand back down to his side just before his uninvited and unwanted guest could slip the manuscript into it, like a process server finally slipping a subpoena to a man who has been ducking it for months. I'm not taking that, Mort said. Won't do you any good to play games with me, Mr. Rainey, the man said mildly. This has got to be settled. So far as I'm concerned, it is, Mort said, and closed the door on that lined, used, and somehow timeless face. So that is how the story opens. We've got Mort Rainey, the writer, who is being accused of plagiarism by a stranger, and the story just kind of builds from there. And I really like this story. When I read it for the first time when I was in high school, I was like, whoa, it was just really cool. I'm not going to give away any of the twists or turns or the ultimate twist. But I will say that it's a really cool way of kind of examining the idea of who is a reliable narrator and who is not. And I like that very much. It's also got great character development, as Stephen King is really good at. And it's also, pretty creepy. So perfect for this Halloween season. I do recommend this story, as I do this whole book. And so, my friends, I'm going to sign off for now, but next week I am going to talk about the third story in this book, which is called The Library Policeman. So until then, keep reading, stay safe, and I will see you next time. All right, bye everybody.